name is Eyal Goldner. I'm from Amikam. That's the Moshav nearby. Actually, I'm not from the agriculture background. Started with it like 14, 13 years ago when my father got sick. I used to own a pub and a moving company. So I started to take care of the vineyards and to plant new ones, just for the family, like for my parents and stuff. After my father died, I stayed with all this farm. I served as an officer in the Jordan Valley, served 4 years. I grew up here, but you know, after you leave the army, you do traveling, and then I came back and started those businesses, and it was pretty well. I've done well. I got married, kids, and everything. I started to plant the vineyards before because I like it. I love it. And then I decided that's what I want to do. I had to go in the last 4 or 5 last years to go to work abroad because it wasn't enough for my family. My eldest is in the army now. She's in the army now, and I have 4 kids. So I went to Australia for a couple of times. I went to Georgia. I went to India to work as an agriculture consultant. And this year I took one of the businesses back, which is a kiosk, so I can stay in Israel, not go away and back, which is very difficult with kids. You know, you leave home for 3 or 4 months, it's pretty hard. I do it all over the world, I told you just now, but it's different. Here in Israel, it's different. It's different than Australia, different than India, different than Georgia, different than all over. And it's ours. That's what we feel. And that's the reason I decided to do the Shemitah also. Because if it's really ours, everything can work like it should be. It's the first time we do it here in Amikam, which is a moshav of non-Orthodox. Maybe most of them are not Masortiim even, just, you know, Chilonim. I'm not Dati. I used to work in the early years on Saturdays. I used to have a pub, a bar, which is, you know, holidays, everything. Then I decided to stop working on Saturdays. It was my own decision. So I stopped. I sold the pub, stopped to do it. Last years were very hard for me, but I kept on with it. I read the Parashat HaShavua every week. So every time you read it, the Shemitah is one of the chapters and one of the things that you read all the time. And the thing is that, you know, we see all these things we have to do, like Shabbat and everything. And because I'm, let's say, connected to the sources of something and I'm learning it and stuff, this year I decided that I want to do the Shemitah. All the years back, they always told us, do the Heter Mechira, which is the permission to sell. And we did it. That's what we've done all the way back. And actually it's not Shemitah, because you actually sell the fruits by permission. So I said, this year I decide to do it. I went to the Misrad HaChaklaut, the agriculture ministry in Israel. They said it was too late. I said, maybe you can lead me, guide me, never done it before. So I said, I'll do it anyway. Whether they help me or not, I decided to do it. So I went to a few lectures to see what to do, because we never done it before. They said that what we ought to do, what we can do. So I choose one of the. It costs more, you know, but it will give a rest to the plants and won't damage them actually. Because the main thing was that all the rabbis and all the professionals said that the main thing is to keep the plant well as much as you can. This time of the year, I should have contracts of the vines and start to close contracts with small wineries, with people that wants to buy. They give some money in advance, so you just roll on. But this year I haven't done it because I have nothing to sell and I won't sell. So it's different. I didn't know that people are supporting the Shemitah here in Israel. I didn't thought even it's possible. For me it was amazing. And to know that people are supporting this, for me that's the miracle. My mother is from China. Yeah. They left China in 49. My father is from Belarus. He born in Germany as a refugee. My grandpa was a Holocaust survivor. The family from China were 4 generations in China before. And my other grandma, she's from Russia. Which is Tatarstan, which is part of Russia. Mixture. My grandpa and my grandma, she's still alive, 92 years old. They came to Israel from China. They built a group of 28 or 30 families. They came by purpose to build a settlement in Israel. It was a settlement in the early 50s in the state that was in the early 50s. One more story is the Sefer Torah that we fixed a few years ago with the Sofer Stam in Rechassim, Avi his name. He told me that one of the Sefer Torahs that I brought to him to fix is 250 years old, and it made in Iraq on those years, and apparently it brought by my grandpa from China when they came from China in the year of 1950. I didn't know that before. The guy told me that, and it was something like closing a circle. I fixed the book that my grandpa brought from China. It was pretty nice for me anyway. People came to this place from all other places, from Tunisia, Poland, Holocaust survivors, I think for Kurdistan also. Some of them were doctors, some of them were students, some of them were free professions, other professions, lawyers and everything. They didn't used to that work, but they decided anyway. They came here. It was pretty hard. Got some guiding from a guy that were here before, and to build this place. When I was a kid, which is 40 years ago, all the hills around were empty of trees, not just growing agriculture, even local trees, Eretz Israel trees, which are oaks and other trees that if you take some picture on the hills around, you will see that. You see the colors and the blooming and everything. Arachok, the far one. Some are forests that had planted by people, and some are natural. The state of Israel let it grow. The main thing is that areas that we plant, areas that we keep, like those hills of herding, cows, sheep, even goats last few years, we just keep the land. We try to balance herding to keep natural places like those hills and agriculturing mainly on the valleys.